Megaherzzz. You're listening to Megaherzzz on 4ZZZ.
Hello, you're listening to Megaherzzz on 4ZZZ. I'm Sarah, and Megaherzzz is the weekly feminist and women's show, and I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that I'm broadcasting from here, the Turrbal and the Yagara people, and acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded, and that Megaherzzz and I personally stand in solidarity with all First Nations people and, and their struggles.
Our 50th birthday radiothon is now over, but don't worry, it's okay if you're late to the party. You can still subscribe to the station right now because we've left a few prize draws open until the end of the month. You can still win a Princess Theatre Golden Ticket, Netherworld Games Cabinet and merch, Tivoli Golden Ticket, or a 5-star Cinemas Golden Ticket. Head to 4ZZZ.org.au and subscribe today.
You're listening to 4ZZZ. We had a big week of Radiothon last week. Radiothon has come to an end, but you can still win some of the main prizes, including a games cabinet from Netherworld. And there's also a golden ticket to the 4ZZZ 50th birthday celebration. So there's all sorts of celebrations happening at the moment for 4ZZZ's 50th birthday. And that means that we've had 50 years of fabulous community radio, and there are a whole lot of celebrations and gigs happening around that. And just by being a subscriber, you can go into the draw to win one of those prizes. So there are still prizes to be drawn. You just have to subscribe by the end of this month, and you'll go into the draw to win some of those. And not just about the prizes, but you also get that fabulous warm inner glow, and you also, get to support community radio, which brings you all sorts of amazing local and Australian music, and brings you things that you might not have the chance to hear on commercial radio, because it is programmed by individual announcers and people who are in it for the love of it. So that's why we do that here. We're all subscribers, we're all volunteers, and we're bringing you community radio. I would like to talk to you about perimenopause. Did you think that was going to happen on a Monday afternoon? Maybe you're driving home somewhere, and now you get to talk to me about perimenopause. So perimenopause is something that has always happened. It's the stage before menopause, but it's recently getting talked about, which is something that's a bit unfamiliar with women's health, is to actually have things be talked about. I think that most people have heard of menopause, which is when essentially hormonal changes and periods stop, but and a whole lot of other things. You probably heard all of the cliches about hot flushes that happen with changes in female hormones. So this is menopause, but it's always kind of been presented to women as this thing that, one day you wake up and you have menopause, and that's what happens. So and all of a sudden, you don't have periods anymore. A lot of people are like, yay, bring that on. That sounds fantastic. I know that, people have reported things like migraines disappearing and, PMS type things disappearing. So for some people it's, considered a good thing. For other people it's considered a bad thing. There's issues with bone health and all sorts of things. So lots and lots to know about menopause. But the thing that is really come to light lately that really wasn't talked about before is this stage of perimenopause. So menopause has always been presented as this thing that happens overnight. One month you have a period, and then the next month that's it. It's all stopped. It's similar to when you first get your period. So similar to puberty. So, but again, that is kind of presented as one day you wake up and you have a period. And yes, that may be true for some people. Sometimes you will just wake up and have a period, and that's it. That is, you are in that phase of your life. But really, it is a very long-term thing. It's very unusual that your period will be regular when you first start. There is this period of puberty. So perimenopause is estimated to happen between 1 and 10 years, that this period of premenopausal changes happen. So there's something to look forward to if you're not there already, and there's something to go, oh, really? Is that what that's about if you are in that stage? So the things that get talked about a lot with perimenopause are things like, of course, hormonal changes. It's all about the hormonal changes, but changes to periods, but also changes to mood, changes to things like mental health, brain fog, things like that are now being talked about a bit more. And the reason that I'm talking to you about this today because when is it not a good time to talk about women's health and to talk about menopause and perimenopause on the radio? It's always a good day. But today I'm talking about it because it has been brought to my attention that Queensland Health referred to perimenopause as Cougar Puberty. So they used the term Cougar Puberty, which they did not invent. It looks like I've followed this up, and it looks like their tweet they did, or their X, I'm not sure what that's called these days, but they wrote on X, on the Queensland Health account, that women on the internet are now referring to perimenopause as Cougar Puberty, and we are here for it. And then they responded with perimenopause, it's only whispered about and vaguely mentioned and vaguely understood, but Cougar Puberty, that's something worth talking about. And there's been there was complaints and a backlash about this, saying, well, that's really not cool because this is a very serious thing that happens, and we don't think that that's very nice of you to make fun of that. But then on the other hand, there are a whole lot of people going, yeah, I totally get that. Cougar Puberty, it makes sense, and also it's the kind of thing that's going to grab attention and get people talking about it. And that's what's something that a lot of people would like is that women's health, gets talked about. And if that means that it has to take on a meme format for that to happen, then I'm actually okay with that. I thought it was funny, personally. I thought that the term was funny, and I feel really sorry for whoever it was in Queensland Health that did that. They were just reiterating an opinion on the internet. Of course, they are a government health body, so they have a responsibility of what they communicate, of course. But I don't know, I'm kind of there for it as well. So the other thing I'm thinking about that is that perimenopause, the idea of menopause, that overnight thing that happens is really linked with that term. And whereas puberty is actually a long-term thing that happens, long-term hormonal changes. So I reckon that it's actually a bit of a better description of that. And maybe the idea that saying Cougar Puberty is demeaning, maybe we need to not demean puberty as much. Maybe that's the something we need to look at there, because it is like a really serious time with serious health changes and serious emotional, intensity. And maybe we ought to be treating that a bit more seriously instead. So, let me know what you think. So you are listening to Megaherzzz, and I am Sarah, and I'm going to bring you some MegaSportzzz news. So MegaSportzzz, we have some, we got some flashing lights here. We're all excited about MegaSportzzz. I would like to thank subscriber Duncan from Upper Caboolture. Thank you for subscribing. And my excitement over the flashing lights. We have flashing lights. There's a light that flashes in the studio here whenever anybody subscribes. So thank you so much for making my day. We just had two. So we had Duncan from Upper Caboolture and another person who the name hasn't come through for me yet. But thank you to whoever you are. And when that comes through, I will thank you personally. So just for you, Duncan, and my other subscriber, I have some MegaSportzzz news. So MegaSportzzz news about the first female umpire in Major League Baseball in America made history this month and became, and I can't believe that this is actually history, but the first female umpire to work in Major League Baseball, so to work as in an official Major League Baseball game. And so she did her first game this month and is now going to be working the 3-game series between the Pittsburgh Pirates and Colorado Rockies. So her name is Jen Pawol, and she is the first female umpire to work in Major League Baseball. I can't believe that she is the first, and I'm sure that she won't be the last. And good on you, Jen Pawol, for being an umpire. And, shout out to all of the umpires and the officials and all of your judges and all of those people who are so important in sports that, that actually officiate these games, do your scorekeeping for various things, do your refereeing, all of those things that actually make sports. So, without officials, you're just kicking a ball around or skating around a track. You're just skating in circles if you're not playing roller derby unless you have officials officiating, and same in any of those ball sports. You are not actually playing a game unless you have all of those hardworking officials and umpires, referees. They cop the majority of the abuse and are not very popular on the ground, on the track, but they are actually what makes things sports. You would have no records. You would have no winners, no any of that stuff if it wasn't for officials. So big shout out to all the people officiating games of all sorts, and to you, Jen Pawol, first female Major League Baseball umpire in the US. Something not so great that I wanted to talk about as well in American sport is there is a bit of a trend at the moment in WNBA games and other women's sports for people to try and start viral trends by throwing sex toys at the players in mid-game. So throwing anything mid-game is dangerous and stupid and not cool, but throwing in a bit of sexual harassment with that as well is doubly not cool and not okay. So people have actually been arrested doing this in America earlier this month. So there was an 18-year-old who was arrested and said it was a prank that was supposed to go viral, and a 23-year-old man as well arrested of doing a similar thing. So people are trying to make this, take off and become a viral joke, but why it's so not cool, because women already have to do twice as much backwards and in high heels to even get to where they are in these professional sporting places, and then to just to add crowd sexual harassment, which I guess is already there. So I guess this is just making it a bit more obvious. But yeah, I don't know, some humour I can get behind, but this is not my kind of humour. So please do not Do not do that. Do not watch viral videos of that, and let that trend just go away. So you're listening to Megaherzzz, and this is for Triple Z. And once again, thank you to our subscribers. That's all we've got time for today. That was so much fun, though. Tune in next week to Megaherzzz.
Isn't that what feminism is about?